What is going on, guys? In this video, I'll be taking a look at the Nissan Fairlady Z 432 PS30 Under the Stars Edition. My goodness, the names of these cars are going to eventually take up the whole screen. But to get this vehicle, all you have to do is the Ghost Rider story, which will be those 12 steps. One, luckily, is going to be pretty long, but most of the other steps are going to be pretty easy to do, compared to at least some of the other ones we have seen anyway, like 40 miles apart is kind of insane. Nonetheless, though, this car is pretty cool looking. I have done a couple of races in it to really see what it could do. I'm not going to lie, I'm really not too impressed with it, but I'll get into that in the race here in a little while. Now, similar to a lot of the other vehicles that have come out, like special editions and or summit reward vehicles, there's really not much of anything you can do to these when it comes to customization. All you could really do is a livery and or some vanity items that you might own, but honestly, this is a pretty cool looking car for the most part. I kind of like how they did the rims there with the red, it looks pretty nice. The overall design of this does look pretty cool, plus we have the luggage on the back there. Now, the big question is, how's this car going to actually handle? Now, to be honest, I feel like a lot of these cars that have been coming out are going to be more for those who want to cruise around and stuff like that. I really don't think these cars will be that competitive, which may not necessarily be a bad thing, because we really do need a lot more cars that people actually like to drive around and all that, because we know there's a lot of competitive vehicles out there like the Superleggera that's pretty much talked about all the time, or the Porsche GT. Now even the Infiniti is really good. There's a lot of cars to choose from when it comes to competitiveness, but having more cars to cruise around and have some more fun in the game is definitely pretty important as well. But anyway, guys, let's go do a top speed run on the new Fairlady here, and then let's go take it into a street race to really see how it can do overall. Now, taking an outside look at the Fairlady Z, like I was mentioning before, it's a pretty dang good looking vehicle. I do like the overall design of this thing. Let's take a listen. I also think the luggage on the back of the car does look pretty cool as well. It kind of gives it like a sense of adventure. Then taking a look at the interior of the vehicle, I think they did a good job with the overall detail of the Fairlady. I mean, that wood finish looks really nice on there, plus the notepad on top of the dash, because we know this car's made for adventure. Then we're going to have an old camera down there, then another piece of luggage it looks like. Now, I really can't do the back view because, well, the luggage is basically blocking the entire back window anyway, but I really don't think that will matter too much because many players are normally in third person. Now, I decided to go in the photo mode because there is a lot of luggage in the back of this car as well. I do think that is pretty cool seeing more luggage and the gas tanks in the back of the car there, because it really shows the attention to detail that was put into this vehicle, which I think is pretty cool to see. But besides all that, let's go see what the top speed of the Fairlady Z is actually going to be. Now, if I had to guess, it'll probably be around 240, maybe a little bit faster than the other Z, which would be kind of funny because, well, we all know how the 300Z does like 238 or so, 240 if you're going down a hill. So the question is, will this car actually be faster? Now, I'm going to be running the Nitro Chemist on here like I normally do on a lot of these vehicles to get the real top speed. So here we go. Oh wow, so it is faster. 245, 246, 247 down the hill. There's pretty dang impressive. Now the top speed is going to be pretty dang good on that, even though it'll be higher than a lot of the other vehicles. But the biggest question is, can this car actually handle as well and or actually go quick enough when accelerating and shifting? Because an insanely high top speed doesn't necessarily make the car actually better, because, well, if the other vehicle is going to have good overall speed plus it can turn really well, it will most likely beat that car on all the turns, but this thing will obviously pull away on a straightaway, which normally most of the street races have more turns and only some have straightaways, so I think the overall handling and lower top speed will really not be an issue. I have been noticing that when using the Infiniti as well in most of the summits, that car has been doing really well, and it only does 237 miles an hour. But nonetheless, guys, let's go see how this thing performs in a race. So jumping into the street race test with the Fairlady Z Under the Stars Edition, I have to admit one thing, I think this car is going to be a lot better for actually cruising around the map with. I mean, I don't really feel like a lot of these vehicles being released recently in these stores will actually be that good for racing, at least what I have noticed anyway. Now, is this car really bad? I don't think it's awful in any way. I do think it might be a little bit slower, and how this thing actually shifts, it might be a little weird. It actually shifts very similar to the 300ZX, which is kind of funny. I've been noticing, I think they're actually like almost the same exact transmission on both. They pretty much accelerate the same and or shift almost the exact same way as each other, which really isn't a bad thing, but I do run manual, and well, sometimes driving these 5 speeds could be kind of weird. For example, these turns, you can downshift too much like I just did right there and go right into second, then back into third, and you're still accelerating really slow, which could be kind of annoying. I think that's why there's a lot of these street cars that are used over others, because they're just that much better. Unfortunately, I don't think the Fairlady Z is going to be that good compared to a lot of the other ones, but can this car actually be used on stuff? I would say if you really wanted to, you could probably do like a summit in this car if you would like to. I might might even try that in the upcoming ones in the new season, really just to see how some of these cars can actually do compared to others, because we all know some of the street cars are honestly just really bad, and well, can some of them actually compete if you guys don't actually have all the vehicles? And well, to be honest, I think the Fairlady might be able to do summits and all that, maybe some competitive racing. Will you probably lose to a lot of the other cars? Most likely, but I do think this car is still really cool. I really do love the detail over this thing overall. The luggage and the overall detail in the interior looks very nice. I was actually looking at the regular car compared to it. I think they did a really good job with the overall look of this vehicle compared to the regular one, so it did definitely take some time to do that, which I do like, because you know you're doing these really long stories for some of these cars, and well, we all know there's not going to be any more after this last one coming up this week. So having some cool vehicles from that will definitely be worth going after. I do think it's a very cool approach to the game. Looking forward to the new drifting update coming up soon though, guys. Let me know your thoughts on the Fairlady Z in the comments below, and here are my settings I'm running on the vehicle currently.